Aprilia gave the RS6060 factory a small but meaningful bump by raising the rev limiter 300 revolutions per minute to 11,800. And on the dyno, it delivers just under 90 horsepower at the rear wheel. Torque peaks around 9,800 revolutions per minute.
Oh.
And while this bike isn't trying to tear your arms off like a full-blown superbike, it never feels underpowered. The parallel twin loves to rev, and there's a strong, usable mid-range that pulls cleanly all the way to redline. On the highway, cruising is relaxed. With the tach sitting comfortably in the power band and plenty in reserve for quick passes. That said, there's still one familiar annoyance: the EPA emissions flat spot. It shows up mostly in second gear between roughly 4,600 and 6,400 revolutions per minute, where the engine feels noticeably muted for about 1,800 revolutions per minute. Aprilia has softened it compared to earlier versions, but still there. An ECU flash completely eliminates the issue. And while experienced riders can ride around it, tight twisty roads will occasionally drop you right into that dead zone. Outside of that quirk, throttle response is excellent across all 5 ride modes. The gearbox itself is precise and positive. But the quick shifter is a mixed bag. At higher RPM and aggressive riding, it works flawlessly, snapping through gears like a proper sport bike should. Around town at lower RPM, though, it can feel clunky and occasionally requires more effort than expected. Where the RS660 factory truly shines is its chassis. The aluminum twin spar frame is outstanding, and at just 403 pounds fully fueled, the bike feels light, stiff, and incredibly responsive. Turn-in is sharp, mid-corner stability is excellent, and the feedback through the bars is impressive for a middleweight. There are clear echoes of the RSV4's precision here. The factory upgrade replaces the standard KYB suspension with full Öhlins front and rear, including a larger 43mm fork instead of the 41mm unit on the base model. The difference is immediately noticeable. The setup is firmer, more controlled, and far more communicative when riding hard. On smooth roads, it's phenomenal stable, under hard braking, planted on corner exit, and incredibly confidence-inspiring. On a twisty mountain road, this bike can genuinely embarrass much larger machines. The downside is comfort. Over rough pavement, the suspension can feel harsh. Riders who commute daily may actually prefer this softer base model. But for aggressive street riding or track days, the Öhlins setup is absolutely worth it. Braking is handled by Brembo M4.32 calibers, gripping 320mm.
Out rotors.
With steel-braided lines, delivering excellent feel and strong stopping power. Whether trail braking into corners or cruising around town, the brakes inspire confidence. The 3-level AB system even allows front-only ABS for track use. Electronics are comprehensive, featuring a 6-axis IMU with cornering ABS, traction control, wheelie control, engine braking adjustment, cruise control, and more. The factory version adds launch control and a pit lane limiter straight from the RSV4, with around 90 horsepower. Experienced riders may turn many of these aids down or off, but they're a great safety net for newer riders. Ergonomically, the RS6060 factory is compact. At 5 feet 10, it fits well, but taller riders may feel cramped. The 32.3-inch seat height and slightly raised bars make it more forgiving than a traditional supersport while maintaining strong front-10 feel. The MotoG-inspired mustache fairing looks aggressive and reportedly improves airflow and cooling. Though downforce claims should be taken with a grain of salt, living with the bike day-to-day is very doable if you're okay with firm suspension and sporty ergonomics. Fuel economy is reasonable, and the engine is engaging without being overwhelming. Still, this bike truly comes alive when pushed hard on back roads or at the track. At around $14,000 MSRP, it's not cheap. But the RS6060 factory knows exactly what it is: a focused, prim, middleweight sport bike that refuses to compromise its performance edge. Since 2021, the RS6060 has pushed the class forward. The factory version continues that legacy with confidence.